love donuts. So much, in fact, that I don't even ask for cake for my birthday. I ask for a glazed donut from Lamar's. So delicious. And as an avid donut lover, what intrigued me the most about New Orleans cuisine were these fried bits of dough covered with copious amounts of powdered sugar. I'm talking about beignets, and they sound like delicious donuts. What's not to love? So when Rudy and I touched down into NOLA, we made it our mission to taste test every beignet we could come across. In this episode, we'll hunt down the best beignets this side of the Mississippi, give you some pointers on how to order, and at the end of the episode, we'll tell you if they really are akin to donuts, or if they're more closely related to a different type of pastry. So stay tuned as we hunt for the best beignets in New Orleans, right here on Lori Garcia Studios. Our first stop is Cafe Du Monde, which is by far the most famous place to buy beignets here in New Orleans. This location in the French Quarter is busy day and night. It was seriously packed at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday. So busy, in fact, that we decided we would just go to the takeaway window and get a bag of beignets so we didn't have to wait in line. We were so excited to taste our very first beignet. Our first impression? They were covered in powdered sugar, which we expected. And they were thick and cold, which we did not expect.
We both agreed that they were pretty gross.
They were really gross.
Thick. They were cold. They were not good.
What's all the fuss about? Are these really worth all the hype? As we disappointedly walked back to our hotel, we passed another beignet place. This one aptly called Cafe Beignet. But how would it be better than the famous Cafe Du Monde that everyone swears by? The atmosphere at Cafe Beignet was lively and charming with all the turn-of-the-century architectural details. It was noticeably less busy as well. We ordered another set of beignets, which were cooked hot and fresh just for us. But what about the results? I think that expression speaks for itself. So the beignets at the less popular place were actually better. But we still couldn't help feel a little disappointed.
They still were not, super delicious. I'm not sure what all the fuss is about.
Well, the cafe beignets were light and crispy, and the other ones were thick and...
Right. Well, they were old, because we got the takeaway ones,
right.
So they were cold and old.
Then I got to thinking, maybe we had given Cafe Du Monde the short end of the beignet by going at night and getting a bag at the takeaway window. What if we had tried them fresh? Would we have liked them better?
Here we go. I'm nervous. They're all right. They're still thicker than the ones at Cafe
Beignet.
They're just a little thicker than the ones at Cafe Beignet. So, but they're better hot than they were cold.
That's good.
Honestly, I think anytime food is hot, it tastes better. So it was definitely better because the food was hot. But it was, it's still, I don't know.
The hype is just more than it is. I mean, I'd rather have a donut from Krispy Kreme's.
So after the second tasting at Cafe Du Monde, we thought our beignet tasting days might be over forever. Until... Tucked away in the French market in a stall in the food court is Loretta's and their signature dish, praline stuffed beignets. Maybe this is what other beignets are missing, a filling. And who doesn't love a praline? They even have this delicious thing called a praline shoe sole. We don't know exactly what it is, but it was so good. But back to beignets. Were these food court beignets any better than the others?
Messy. How do they compare, with the other two?
This one's really light and flaky and crunchy. and it's sweet.
Who are you looking at?
No, I'm looking at you.
Looking over there.
I'm like, it's like a drug. It's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
They were so good. So good, in fact, that we had to try the chocolate ones as well. So why were these so flaky? Was it croissant dough all fried up? Like a cronut? Nope, the workers said that the secret to their flaky crust was puff pastry. I didn't know why at the time, but there was something very familiar about this delicious version of beignets. So just when we thought our journey was over, we made another surprising discovery, a beignet place at the airport. And it was owned by Cafe Du Monde. We wouldn't have even tried these, but unlike the other location, this airport cafe had stuffed beignets with all sorts of flavors.
Stuffed raspberry beignets here. These are very flaky already. I can tell they're like
they?
the same as the other place.
But they're made by the same people as Cafe Du Monde, right?
No, these are so much better.
They are so much better than regular Cafe Du Monde?
Yes.
Is it the same puff pastry situation?
Look at this. It's light, flaky.
It's the puff pastry.
It's a puff pastry.
And then we made this revelation. So it's like a toaster strudel.
Yes.
It's a toaster strudel. We're on to you, New Orleans. The updated stuffed version of the beignet is a Pillsbury toaster strudel. Well, whatever they are, they're much better than the original beignets. That's for sure. And speaking of the airport, check out who we found while waiting for our flight. It's John Snyder, the John Snyder.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Somebody save me.
And our son Ethan would be saddened if we didn't mention John was in one of his favorite shows too.
And John was super nice too. So if you're headed to New Orleans and you've never tried a beignet, you have to try them. The original recipe is like nothing you've ever tasted before. But after you've had the real deal, head over to Loretta's and try the puff pastry version, stuffed with the ooey gooey praline for an extra special treat. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lori, and this is Lori Garcia Studios. Taste it. I want to say this side of New Orleans. That doesn't make any sense. Bark, 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 bark.